Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel on ACA Design. I am so glad that you're here. This is, in my opinion, a very exciting video in that it is sort of a trifecta of meaning three, three big things. Number one, the project that I'm about to do, which is a pocket, is, I believe, unique. I haven't seen it done before, and I'll get into it obviously soon. The second reason I'm tickled pink is because I'm announcing my very first collaboration. Woohoo! And thirdly, I created the poster for the collaboration using Canva. So, like, will wonders never cease? Maybe I should lift this up a smidge. Okay. So, I think if you've been watching my channel, for any length of time, you know that I'm quite often talking about Teresa DeFredo. She is one of the most supportive, loyal, funny, great storyteller kind of subscribers to have, and a huge cheerleader of mine. So naturally, when I was trying to think of an idea for a collaboration, who did I reach out to if not Teresa? And timing wise, I guess my outreach hit her at a good time, because she was spending time in a waiting room, and in no time at all had come back with suggestions. So you know that I love alliteration and cheekiness and that sort of thing. So when one of the ideas she suggested was pick a pocket, I thought, okay, we've got a winner here. And she's been keeping the secret for a couple of weeks now, because I needed to get some stuff off my plate to properly launch this. I needed to make a prototype to launch the collaboration. I needed to make a poster. And today is finally the day. So, in a nutshell, the hashtag is pick a pocket. Now, the pocket that I'm going to show you, I have a prototype done, and I'm going to do create one with you, is I would say it's not a 5-minute thing. However, I don't want that to be in any way limiting or intimidating or anything at all. This whole thing, the whole concept here, is to have fun, make it easy, and not make it a pain in the butt or a burden to anyone. And I think that I'm modeling this whole concept after one that Carrie, the paper monkey, has created. And in fact, I don't know, to thank her, to get back at her, I don't know what. She's going to be she and Teresa are the two people I'm tagging today. So if you have been to Carrie's channel, the paper monkey, you know that she came up with a very clever and effective hashtag called Tag Your Turn. And that has taken on a life of its own. And I thought, well, hey, like, what am I, chopped liver? Can't I have a hashtag that takes on a life of its own? So that's what I'm aiming for. Quick, easy, fun, no big deadlines, no start or end date, just something that goes on and hopefully engages people. Of course, we all make pockets all the time. There are a million styles, just as there are a million, million creators. So everyone can participate. So, okay, in a nutshell, create a pocket. Post a YouTube video or an Instagram post showing your creation using the hashtag pick a pocket. And of course, all lowercase. Now, I don't know if Angela, the traveling crafter, is the first person to have sort of, with her latest thing, which is the Give a Scrap hop, if she was the first person to choose to widen the net and include subscribers. But I think it's a heck of an idea. And of course, it allows people who don't have a channel to participate. So this is for everybody. Tag me, Hazel and Aka Design, in the title so that I can be aware of what you're doing and you know, ooh and ah and comment and so on. And then tag 2 or 3 friends to take part. So enough about this. I will show it again. I will, if I can figure this out, I will put this on the community tab on my YouTube channel. Okay, down to business. So this, you've seen this journal before. It's just one that I have nearby. You know, when a person needs something to sort of demo with, it's a good thing to have. Well, even this one will do. Okay, if you're like me, you have either a bunch of zippers that you have thrifted, or when you deconstruct thrifted clothing or your own clothing to repurpose, you may be stumped as to what to do with the zippers. So, by the way, Carol, I'm not quite sure why I felt the need to buy more zippers from you in a long ago live sale, but let me just show you something. This is a shoebox type thing. Now, there are zippers and there are zippers. We know that the more, see, I don't even know where these came from. If this was part of, you know, the sewing table and supplies that I got from my mom. Oh, yeah, I see. Here's a price tag. She apparently tried to sell them at a garage sale and had no takers. Anyway, okay, just quickly, you can see that some of these have threads, which means they've been removed from something. They also have nylon teeth. But look at these honkin' ones that have these giant metal, well, not maybe so giant, but these metal teeth. Like, so I don't know what these things came off, but clearly there are lots in here. And look at this one. I surely don't know where this one came from. It says rest and relaxation. And look at the size of those teeth and that pull. Anyway, just showing you, I may have a slight zipper problem. Oh, I should pull this one out because I'm sort of collecting stuff for a burgundy journal. Anyway, okay, enough about that. So what I did was I took something apart the other day and I had a zipper. And I kind of mangled it a bit because I didn't take my time doing it right. So I figured, well, what the heck am I going to do with this? So I thought, okay, I also have Tim Holtz paper pads that I have not been using. You know, when I heard that he wasn't making 12 by 12s anymore, I thought, oh my goodness. You know, it's like buying something for your bomb shelter kind of thing. Anyway, I have a pad or maybe 2 that I haven't done a darn thing with. So I wanted some cardstock and I wanted something that would go with that brown zipper. So using all my fuzzy memories from home ec, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? Obviously, there needed to be a slit in the paper to make this open and close. Oh, by the way, this is what it would look like. Maybe it'll show better on this side. So naturally, this would be glued down on 3 sides. well, I guess it could even be glued on all four sides because access to the pocket would be created by opening the zipper. And it would be so secret. And of course, you tuck something in, zip it up, and I should actually glue this in, but I think I wanted to show you that we might not want to look too closely at this one. This was my first attempt, and everything I learned I'm going to share with you to save you the grief and the blunders. Like I said, I mangled this and it was starting to fray and I cut several pieces off. You don't want to do that. If you're going to save a zipper, if you're going to salvage one from, used clothing, take a little time and do it better than I did. So we'll set that aside for the time being. So I have another one kind of ready to go. Okay, so what I have learned. In all these examples, this is heavier than this, I'm using cardstock simply because I don't think that it would work very well with just regular paper. So I looked through the zippers, and this one actually still had a tag on, $1.35. So I don't know how old this is. But another one I'm going to show you had this tag on, and isn't that the cutest little label? And it was 45 cents for an 18-inch zipper. Anyway, so I had this blue zipper, and I thought, well, I have to make it work. So I picked this card. This was a 12 by 12 also, which is, it's really kind of nice to be able to use at least part of a 12 by 12 up. So I thought, okay, I need to tie in the blue, so naturally that is the side I used. Now, we know that in a normal size journal, we don't want to go any wider than about 5 inches. So that was basically what I have done for all 3 that I have started. And then this one is a hair over 6 3/4. This one I think is slightly taller, 8 inches. And I did that kind of for a reason because, it's always easier to trim, or most of the time, it's easier to trim something down than it is to make something bigger if you need to. Okay, so we know that on a zipper, should I have to grab one? Okay, well, on this one, there is always this these little tabs at the top. Now, just to make it a little neater, easier, whatever, using Fabri-Tac, I just sort of folded them. I glued them down and angled them away a bit. Now, with this first one, I figured, okay, how big, where do I make my slit, and how big should the opening be? And I have to say, I had to keep opening it and opening it. Now, these 2 pulls are, well, they're almost identical, I would say. You can see that on this one, this is quite a bit daintier, quite a bit. Oh, was this what they called invisible zippers back in the day? Yeah, look you can't see the teeth from the right side. Anyway, if we just look at the pull, we see that it's quite a bit smaller. In that tub of zippers that I showed, you saw that some of them had very big pulls. So naturally, it has to be able to clear the opening. So based on the ones that I'm now using, I figured out that 3/8 of an inch is about right. Initially, I started a lot narrower, and this is narrower, but I ran into some issues. So I'm thinking, if the zipper is part of the focal point here, and it perhaps should be, then having some of that fabric-y part show is not going to be the end of the world. So I didn't write any measurements, but I guess I'll say it often enough that you could make a couple of notes. I'm not going any wider than 5 inches. And naturally, if you were doing this in a tall skinny, which would be kind of cool because it would allow a person to use up some of these longer zippers and maybe waste less. Anyway, you would naturally narrow down your dimensions. I, in each of these examples, left an inch on the one side because I thought if there's any less, it's going to just be that much trickier to work with. Now, depending on where this pocket ends up, if I had to, I could cut this side down a bit. I could also cut the height down. Now here, I've left almost 1.5 inches. On this one, it was basically 1 inch. So, what I did was, took my measurements, 1 inch and 1 inch, 3/8, 3/8, and then just using a knife and I was going to say a cutting board, a cutting mat, I cut that out. So, all is good so far. What I learned with the first one, because I was delusional, I must have been running a fever. I believed that, all I need is some Fabri-Tac to tack this down, and then once it's dry, I'll take it to the sewing machine. Well, lo and behold, yes, it dries. Yes, I take it to the sewing machine. Then I realize, there's no way that regular zipper foot or sewing machine foot is going to work on a zipper. And then flashback to home ec, I think, of course, there are special zipper foots. Because I have more than one sewing machine, I did kind of a, half-hearted attempt to look through the stuff nearby and see, well, do I have any additional feet accessories that I could switch it out for? And I couldn't find it, and I thought, no, I don't care. Enough is enough. So I then did this top stitching with my trusty little Staedtler fine liner. And I think it looks pretty good. Now, at the risk of showing you some stuff, where's my little pokey thing? Because I was struggling with how wide this should be and thought I was going to be sewing, I made a mess with the glue. And we know that as wonderful as Fabri-Tac is, there are, when you get it on something as textured as this zipper fabric, you can probably see, even though I inked it to tone down the color, you can probably see these shiny bits where I had the paper initially glued too close. In fact, the zipper was binding, and even though I had already widened it, and remember, it's getting narrower back here because I've messed up there, I ended up having to peel this back and re-glue it further over, which meant I now had glued kind of slopped on both sides of the zipper. I see that this might work, and maybe I'll pick at this later and see if I can get a bit more of it off. However, that was another lesson learned, and another thing. Remember to tell the viewers so that they don't create a problem like that themselves. Okay, now, back here you can see that I'm about 1/2 inch from the top of the card. That is probably too much, but again, easier to cut that off or add something, lace or ribbon or whatever, decorate it a bit, because of course I haven't done a single thing in decorating. So for the time being, I'm leaving that as it is. But I also thought that on the next one, I would put it a wee bit closer to the top because I think that might look better. Now, this is the first one I'm going to be trying. Now that I've determined that I can't sew it, I better make sure that my gluing is kind of stellar. I am just wondering, I don't want to make marks that I won't be able to get rid of. I think I'm going to, for the time being, I should be letting this get flowing. I'm going to err on the side of gluing. Well, I'll open it up just to make it easier. I will err on the side of gluing further away from the teeth than closer. Because, of course, you know, glue has a tendency to squeeze out too when we apply some pressure. So, I don't know that it matters which side I do first. And maybe I'll do it. So, I don't know if you can see, and maybe every zipper is not. Well, I guess maybe every zipper is the same. See, there's this little eighth here. Then the stitching sort of looks a little bit different. And then there's this more like almost a quarter of an inch. Just so I'm relatively straight, I'm going to go on the outside of that decorative or that thing that looks different. And I surely hope that that is the right place to put this glue. So I'm putting maybe I should cut back. I'm putting glue all the way, all up one side. So I think it's going to be easy. And again, there is some forgiveness with there is, and I guess the other thing is if you've managed to put, darn it. See, that pull can become a problem. So you need it, you don't want it kind of in the way as you're trying to do this. So you have to zip and unzip. Okay, so that is probably okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I'd say. I'm just gonna pull this bottom over a bit. I'm gonna apply some pressure. I see I maybe is a little higher than I want it to be. I wonder if I can. You know what? I'm not going to bother because I'll probably end up smearing the glue. That little thing is showing, but I'm not going to worry about it because I could trim it off or I could cover it when I decorate. So now, of course, it's a little harder to, maybe I should zip this up. A little harder to get in now, but not impossible. I'm not going to worry about the bottom part, like the end of the zipper. We'll do that at the end. Hopefully you can see this. And again, you know, it's, I want this to be secure now that I know that I can't stitch it, but I also am fully aware that this isn't like a garment. It's not going to be subjected to the stresses and strains of a garment zipper. And if you can't wait to test it, then by all means test it. Okay, so I think that is looking good and no glue oozing or leakage. Now, you probably noticed, or maybe I'll draw your attention to it, this zipper was far longer, probably another 3 or 4 inches. So after I had it glued in place, I just hacked off some surplus because there's no need for that. And once it's glued, it's not going anywhere. This zipper is more like the right length. However, we still don't need, you know, more bulk than necessary. So I'm going to cut this off. Now, you've seen me use these scissors in every video. They don't really work on fabric very well anymore because they're used for everything else. But okay, where I'm cutting, there are no teeth. So, but even on that brown one, no, they're not going to cooperate because I was bragging about how good they are. Even on that brown one, I was able to cut through those nylon teeth. Now, of course, if I was using one of the old guys with steel teeth, metal teeth, then I'd have to rethink that. So I'm just waiting again for my glue, and I will tack this down pretty solidly. And I'm not going to bother doing the felt marker top stitching because obviously you're very capable of figuring that out yourselves and doing it. I love this idea. Love, love, love it. Now, of course, like anything else that we create, the options for decorating it. Oh, I see that didn't catch very well. Let me move this pull down a bit. I probably yanked on it before it had a chance to grab. Go figure. Oh, I was talking about decorating. You know, you can do as much or little as you want. Of course, you would be using your aesthetic and sticking with your theme and so on. I guess I wanted to do this, number one, because of all those zippers. And number two, I thought it would be cool that, you know, you can put something in there and it's really hidden and out of sight. But also, what was I going to say? Use up zippers, really cool. I don't know. We'll set that one aside. How are we doing for time? I seem to be having trouble with this new reduced video schedule of mine in picking a happy medium. So please bear with me until I figure that part out. Oh, I have this. This is more cardstock. Now you, of course, can't see those marks because I can barely see them. I pre-measured. I love this paper because I'm gradually, I think I'm being a little more efficient now in that as I do things, I think, like I'm not just creating stuff willy-nilly for the most part. I'm thinking, purple journal, blush journal, rust journal, a black and white, you know, all that kind of stuff. Now look at how humongous this is. Now, when I cut this excess off, obviously I'm not going to throw it away because this could easily be glued down and be kind of a cool tab, or not tab, but page edging in a sewing journal. So I'm trying to protect this clean side of my mat a little more. So I have been cutting on this thing. And so I'll just, not that you need my help figuring out how to cut stuff, but I do want to show you this one more time. So just trust me that I'm hitting my marks. Again, 1 inch, and I think that's an inch there. And again, the distance in between, or the slit that I'm making, is 3/8 of an inch wide, and however long your page and zipper might be. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I also think this is a good idea because now a person is more likely, hopefully you give this a try and tell me if my instructions were good. Look at that cute little piece. Of course I'm going to save it. Yeah, tell me if the instructions were clear enough and if you saw enough to help you do this easily. Again, I made the mistake so you wouldn't have to. Okay, so I had already glued this back, so remember that. Now I suppose I could cut a bunch of this off just to make it a little less cumbersome. Again, I think I'm going to, that's quite close to the top, maybe not as close as the blue one, not as far as the brown one, just like the porridge and the bed and the chair, just right, Goldilocks. Okay, I think like so. So just to get some of this bulk out of the way, I'm just going to cut it there. And again, my workhorse scissors got through that. And as I was saying, this could be glued down because really, if I don't yank on it, maybe I should just put something on here right now so it doesn't accidentally open up. Anyway, I really hope you take part in this pick-a-pocket. Better this than, the real thing of picking a pocket. I don't want anyone going to crafter's jail or any other kind. This pick-a-pocket won't get you into trouble. Oh, I guess I better leave that lying down. Yeah, I just put a little bit along the edge there to hopefully keep it closed. Okay. If, you know what, a person, I think, it's just human nature that we learn from our mistakes, or we keep refining a process so that it gets better, faster, easier. If it was possible, boy, wouldn't it be nice to draw a line on the back That's probably more farting around than we either of us have time for, so I'm not going to do it on this video. Okay, so last time I did the side that was on the wider part, and then open the zipper, and so I might as well stick with the same plan because that seemed to be a good idea. So again, I'm just adding glue on the outer edge of that change in the design, change in the stitching there on the zipper. And I probably don't need to go right to the end, simply because I can catch that later. And again, you want to try to get your positioning right, like top to bottom. Don't have it sticking out like I did on my blue one. And also, kind of once you make contact, just leave it. Just leave it. Rather than smear the glue around because, you need to skid it over a little bit. See, this is where it's probably not that great putting pressure on something that soon after it's been glued. But We have to. Okay, so again, I'm going to apply the glue, outer edge of that mark. Whoops. It's been overcast here all day. You know, a person wouldn't mind that one little bit if it produced some rain. But it's just kind of dreary. And nothing to show for it. And I wasted far too many hours. This is Sunday when I'm taping this. I wasted far too many hours on an online auction. I mean, I wasn't sitting glued to the tube, but you know, you're a bit on edge because you don't want the things you're interested to come and go while you're busy cutting and gluing something. That, I have to say, if you guys try this, do 2 or 3 because they definitely, oh, let me cut first. They definitely do get easier with some practice. Could probably cut another inch off. The other day I managed to cut myself with scissors. Like, what kind of a skill set does that take? You'd think that would be fairly safe. Okay, I should be looking at it from this side, make sure I haven't reefed it over. I am loving this. And of course, once this is thoroughly dried, a person could certainly, well, I'll add the stitching. On this, I'll probably end up having to use black so it shows up on the dark brown. But then I will also, or at the point of decorating, a person could also attach, you know, a ball pin or something to the zipper pull so that it's very fancy, fancy dancy, as we like to say here at the studio. I love these. I hope that you make some. I hope you tell me that you made some and that they worked beautifully. I will have to think long and hard about this one. You'd think it should work the same. This was, like I said, an invisible zipper. Anyway, that is that. Let me just show this to you again. I hope you have the time and desire to jump on board with this. I am going to now, from now on, as I make pockets, I will just be, you know, kind of randomly adding more people to the, I'll be tagging more people. And believe it that I am tagging people that I care about. It's not a punishment. Remember that. Okay, hashtag pick a pocket, create a pocket, post it on YouTube using the hashtag, put my channel name in the title so that I can spot it, and then tag, you know, 1 or 2 or 5 or however many people you want to take part. No start date, no end date. Let it take on a life of its own, just as Carrie's has. And again, I'm tagging Teresa, the brainchild behind the hashtag, and Carrie because I think she put together a heck of a successful collab, and I want to be Carrie when I grow up. Anyway, okay, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.